Hey everyone, welcome to the Random Spirit Podcast. I am your host, Cynthia. I am back. Today, I have this very special episode. It is a collab, and I am collabing with an amazing, beautiful soul. Her name is Vee. She is a psychic medium, and she's amazing, okay? She is an inspiration. I look up to her so much, and I am so grateful that she came on my podcast. She has helped me a lot on my spiritual journey, made a huge influence in my life. I don't know what went on with my end with the audio with this episode. I thought that everything was good, but it is pretty choppy on my end, so I am apologizing in advance, but you can hear V completely clear. This was recorded during Mercury retrograde, so I'm going to blame it on that. But here is the episode. I hope you all enjoy. Welcome, V, to my podcast.
Thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Yes, I appreciate you. I look up to you. Oh my gosh, I'm excited. Oh,
me too.
Okay, so everyone, this is V. She is amazing psychic medium. I don't even know, how do you introduce yourself, V? Like when someone's like, oh, what is it that you do?
Shit, I'm like a Jedi. I'm a fucking Jedi out in this bitch. joking, obviously. I am a jokester. I'm sorry. I can't, I have to be myself. But in all seriousness, I guess the best way to describe myself, you're technically right. The technical term would be a psychic medium, but I would consider myself a mystic voyager through the stars.
I love that. I love that. Wow.
I just made that up on the spot. Can you believe it? It just popped in my head. See the channeling shit, right? Yes. Things, the downloads. But yeah,
you're always channeling, huh?
I know, like this shit don't turn off. But actually, technically, we all have the ability to turn it off. But
yes.
I'm just in the flow. I think what happens is like when you're just in the flow of life, like in the moment, I think that's when it starts to happen, even without you trying to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And since I'm here with your fun self and your amazing energy, so I feel a lot in the flow. So your energy also helps my energy in this moment to be more in flow. We're simpatico right now. So like, it's easier for me to just, the channeling stuff just keeps popping in,
Okay, that's cool. Okay, oh my gosh, okay. I'm kind of fangirling here.
Oh, you're so sweet, girl. It's just me.
All right, so V is amazing. This is amazing. This podcast is going to be all about you. Okay,
which is extremely uncomfortable, but thank you.
This is, the direction, that I'm going, trying to introduce something new on the podcast, and I just want to go on and, connect with different, souls and go on and, spread the word, because you have made a huge influence in my spiritual journey. You really have.
Oh,
and I thank you so much, and I appreciate you so much. So it's all about you. The spotlight's on you, girl.
Oh man, you're gonna make a bitch cry out here. I'm about to start my period. I don't care if it's TMI, but I am, and I'm emotional, and I'm normally not this emotional. So Cynthia, there's a tear forming at the corner of my eye, my Capricorn eye. There's a little tear forming in my Capricorn eye, because I feel your love and I feel your gratitude, and I feel just as much gratitude because I think that you are such an amazing woman, because the way that you deal with shadow work and inner child healing, those are the deep aspects that we as humanity really need to obviously work on and go through. And it's like, it takes a very strong, courageous person to go head first into that. And I appreciate that in you.
Stop.
So I just wanted to say that to you.
Thank you.
Seriously.
Thank you so much.
You're really doing the like the tough work out here. Like you're truly, it's like an alchemist, transforming darkness into light. And that's what you do. So it's beautiful.
Isn't it crazy? We're like I wouldn't say I work side, but I'm shadow work, deep, cry, trauma, and you're like light, galactic, aliens, other
right?
worlds.
Right, exactly. Like on the other sides of the opposite of the universe. But I respect what you do because it's something that, it's for whatever reason, it's not, I mean, obviously I do like, I still focus on my shadow inner child, crying in my car and shit, I still, do the things, but I don't have it. It's just not in me to do like how deep you go. That's why I'm like, man, I respect the shit out of that, man. I do.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. This whole podcast, guys, whoever's listening, it's just gonna be us complimenting each other. So enjoy. I'm joking.
It is. Oh my gosh. Okay. We are gonna put the spotlight on you, girl. And I want to start off by you going on and, introducing yourself with what you're comfortable with, your name. Okay. Versia?
Yes, you remember my name. Oh my gosh, yes.
You have the mic, and then we'll just be bouncing off each other. So who are you? A little background. Go.
Okay, so a little background. Now are we talking my origin story or what?
Whatever you're with, girl. Like, I don't know, like, whatever you're comfortable. Your origin story. You don't have to go too deep, girl.
I know, but no, I'm cool. I love I can't help but be myself. So yeah. All right, my origin story. At least it's not a villain story yet. No, I'm joking. God, I can't stop joking. I have a Sagittarius Mercury, so I'm sorry. I got it. But I just can't help it. I can't fucking help it. But so my origin story is this. I was born in Maryland. No, okay, let me stop. I was literally born in Maryland. I was raised in Maryland, in the DC, Maryland, DC area. I was always I'm trying to go back, like really far back into my childhood. I was always inquisitive. I was always questioning things. I was raised Catholic. So you know how that goes. So
was too, yeah.
So it's like, the Catholic shit. So really was like indoctrinated into that as a child. So, but it never sat right, as every, all of us awakened. It's like, I was like 8, 9 years old, questioning stuff like, this doesn't make sense. Why does this person go to hell? Why does this person not? Why do we only go to heaven? It didn't feel fair. In Catholic faith, they teach you like, we're the one true faith and, whatever. And it just didn't sit right. So I would always question that. And man, those little classes I took, I think they were called CCD classes. I don't know if you remember that.
Yes, girl. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you already know. Yeah, you've been through it. So them CCD classes, them teachers hated me. So because I was always talking, trying to like go against what they're saying. So I was always that rebellious person. So I was the stereotypical rebellious kid that was really questioning things at a very young age. I was always I always had the gifts. I've always seen and heard spirits since I was very, very young. I mean, since first grade, which would have been about 7 years old. So I used to talk to this old man in my room. Literally, I would see an old man.
Not creepy at all.
I know, exactly, right? Like, oh yeah, now I'm thinking like, shit, now I see some old man spirit. What the fuck you visiting a little girl for, you fucking pedo? Now, but no, he wasn't. He wasn't a pedo vibe, not at all. He was just a spirit. But he would only show up when I was going through turmoil, or if I was like, middle school, elementary school things. You had an argument with your mom, argument, you know what I mean? Little small things. And he would tell me like, you should apologize to your mom. It would make you feel better. And I'm like, me apologize? So I would even argue back with him as a child. But now, of course, as an adult, I realized I was just a guide, a spirit guide, but they're already revealing themselves so quickly, such a young age. And of course, I didn't know what this was, right? All those imaginary friends, but anyway, I was always interested in reading. I've always been an avid reader. Actually, fun fact, when I was in middle school, 8th grade, actually right before I went to high school, my middle school teacher wanted to pay for me she wanted me to write a book because she says my ability to, what the fuck did she say? She said my ability to retain information was like off the charts or something. I don't know what it was. But basically, I was always excelled in subjects of science or English, anything with science or English. Love science, by the way. Um,
Mhm.
Especially like chemistry, biology. I mean, whatever it is, I just love. I like the how of things. You know, how does this work? You know what I mean? How?
Mhm.
But anyway, God, I'm getting really into detail. Let me see what else. What else about me? In a general sense, I've always been one of those kids growing up. Outside of my rebelliousness, I always had weird friendships with people. That's another random thing. You know, it was always a trigger. Like friendships in a general sense for me is a trigger because when I was younger, I was very open as all kids are, right? You're like open to life, open to anything, like you're giving 100% of yourself and of your love and of your energy. And then when you see someone just like, just be so weird with it and abuse it and betray you. And like I had a lot of themes of betrayal with
Wow.
friendships, like random, like out of thin air, just like betray me. And I'm like, what the hell? And it's like one of those things where you beat yourself up because you're like, well, what did I do wrong? And you
Mhm.
calculate in your head, you're like, wait, I didn't say anything mean to this person. I didn't do anything mean to this person. So what is wrong? And that was the first fucking soul lesson I've learned in my life, which was no matter how kind and how great and how sweet and whatever loving of a person, no matter how much you care about someone, um, it's only filtered through, you know what I mean? It's like, just because you're good and great doesn't mean it's always going to be returned. And just because
Yes.
it's not returned doesn't mean you have to close up your love and close up your heart and not open it back up again. And just because love and all that shit is not reciprocated, what you do is you move the fuck on and align with someone who does reciprocate it. You know what I mean? And it was a hard lesson because I was like, I just didn't understand humanity when I was a child. I just didn't get it. I just didn't understand. And also, just to get really like galactic here, also when I was a child, I also had dreams of having like a what was it, like when I was like 6 years old, I thought I was carrying like a baby, and I used to have dreams of like alien things even as a young child. So like a
Really?
hybrid kind of vibe. I'm not saying I'm a hybrid, I'm just saying like I would have, it started at a very young age, the alien stuff with me and the alien contact, and it started out in the dream state, and then it would start off as weird experiences. It was just always, I was really a very weird child. I'm proud of it though, because
Yeah.
weirdness needs to be celebrated, because there's a lot of eclectic people who don't feel, who are like, and I'll say one of my biggest things when I was younger growing up, I held a lot of shame. And you know why I had a lot of shame is because it was hard for me to open up to people in a general sense about, especially after like, having people shit on me. I was like, oh, I'm feeling like all closed down, Capricorn stuff. I'm closed down,
Mhm.
fuck y'all, kind of thing. But I spent a lot of my childhood like really in my room. I was always journaling, writing,
Wow.
reading. I spent many, 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 many times alone. And I really feel like, even though as a child you should be like obviously more social. I mean, I still had like a friend or two, but I really spent a lot of time in solitude. And I think that's why as an adult I genuinely still enjoy it, because I was forced to love my own company at that age. Because I didn't have a lot of friends, I didn't really trust much people, I was forced to trust myself, if that
You
makes sense.
you don't have
So
siblings?
yes, I do. I have siblings, so it wasn't that fucking bad. So that's why I'm
Oh,
like, I wasn't
like
that lonely. You know what I mean? I
yeah.
was the youngest. I'm the youngest out of all of us. I have two brothers and a sister, and they're all older than me. But
Mhm.
I was always had the my mom and everyone would always say, well, oh, but you're so wise, you're so old. Like I would have a wiser energy than some of my oldest
Okay.
siblings. So I was always like this, always thinking, always giving advice. And even, yeah, I'm just I don't know, it's just been an interesting journey, but I've always had the psychic gifts. That was always the underlying anxiety for me. I struggled with anxiety my entire life. And it wasn't until I got later into adulthood when I realized it's like, I'm not using my freaking gifts. And I didn't realize this until after my mom passed. I had no intention on doing anything psychic stuff. Yes, I saw the old spirit ghost man in my room. Yes, I talked to, I could see spirits and stuff, but I never told anyone because, the Catholic faith put a lot of fear in me at that time. So it's hard to just tell someone because they're going to just assume it's the devil. So why would I, open up, right? Why the fuck would I say, oh, by the way, guys, I'm getting like random dreams about shit's coming true in the future. I'm talking to spirit, who the fuck's going to listen to that, right? So I
Yeah.
just dismissed myself because of the Catholic stuff. But I started reading more books on Buddhism when I was like in middle school. And
Gosh.
yeah, I was really into, I told you I've always been a reader. So that's where a lot of my a lot of things started to shift when I started reading into Buddhism. And I'm like, this somehow instinctively, like it just made sense for me way more than the Catholic faith. So then I thought, oh, is this what I am? When you're young, you're just trying to find identity. I think as all humans, right? We're just looking for an identity. We want to find who we are. And, I think who we are reveals itself through every experience, and I can't, now as an adult, I would never want to just identify myself as like, oh, I'm this or that.
Yeah.
But in that age group, it makes sense to want to, you want to feel like you belong somewhere, and even as adults, I think we still feel that same longing, the longing to belong, the longing for community. I actually think it's just a core, it's the human condition, we're meant to, communicate. We're meant to social. We're meant to, the groups and, whatever.
Yeah.
But I've always been like that on the fringe of society. The way my beliefs, my thoughts, my eccentricness, I've always been on the fringe. That's what I used to joke around. I'm on the fringe of society. I'm just I've always felt like an outsider, but yet an insider simultaneously. And also, believe it or not, I also wrote a lot of poetry growing up. I was always writing. That's really what I did a lot. I loved writing. Still to this day, when I channel, obviously I channel more now verbally, but I still channel in writing here and there.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, writing is still very important to me. And that's what I thought I wanted to be when I was younger. I thought I was going to be a writer. And I think it's coming from a past life of mine where I might have been a writer, actually. So I think it's still carrying through. And I really thought it was going to be so strong. I was like, I'm going to write books. I'm going to do this in this life. But I also thought I thought when I was younger, I thought I wanted to be actually the three things. I wanted to be an actress. I know, so superficial of me. I did as a child because I was always animated. I loved movies. I mean, who doesn't love movies?
I know,
though?
yeah.
But it's like I genuinely, as a child, I even tried out. I even went to this like casting agency or whatever, and they liked me, but for some reason, I don't know why. I was still young. I never followed through with it, and but I'm glad I didn't, because that would not have been a great path. But I thought about that because I realized I was always entertaining as a child. I could also fun side fact, this is gonna sound so funny. I don't think I've ever told anyone this. I mean, people who really personally know me, they know this part, like my family members, but I don't think anyone else does. So I'm just gonna say it here today. I don't think I even said it on my own podcast, actually, but I can actually do like funny voices, like different accents or different voices.
Do it.
So I would always do like little funny voices and make my mom laugh, make everyone laugh, like when I was younger. So I could hear something and then I could mimic it. That's how I would do it as a
really
child. Yeah, like I could hear something and then I could just that's why that English teacher said, like, you got something special in that brain. Like, how the fuck your brain like this, bitch? Like, how the fuck you be doing this? But yeah, I could do a random voice, like let me see here.
Try to.
No, I mean, I don't think I'm gonna do it now, but it's fucking funny. But
so come on, Vee, try to.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, I don't know what character I should do. I'm trying to think of something random. Because that's what it's usually. It's very random for me. I can't do it. I can't. I'm too on the spot. I can't do it.
Okay.
Now I feel like everyone's watching me, even though no one's watching me. Now
What about have you heard of Peppa Pig?
You know what? I've heard of the show. I never watched it, so I don't know what
Girl,
Peppa Pig sounds like.
What about Tommy from the Rugrats?
Tommy from the Rugrats. You know what? I used to watch Rugrats, but I don't remember his voice. It's too long ago. Hold on. I'm trying to think of someone else. Hold on.
If you can, it's okay, girl.
I know, now I'm like, yeah, now I'm too much on the spot, but I just want let it be known that I really thought I could do some voiceover work. Let's just say that. Say that.
You need to. What you do? I just like randomly started off like that or something. I should, man. You know what? I really should. I have to. I have all these. I have these random voice recordings on my phone where I do random things. So I have to. You know what? I'm gonna have to play one of those one day. Yes. Oh my gosh. You were so chill, and it's just so crazy how like all this stuff, like, just like the trajectory of like your life,
Yeah, seriously, seriously. It's been a fun journey. A lot of my life themes have been about, um, a lot of my life themes have been about responsibility. Of course, you could say, "Oh, you're a Capricorn." Oh, of course, but no. In all seriousness, it's always responsibility. My mom was always, she was sick most of my life,
Yeah.
so I had to take care of her. Not just me. Me and my siblings. Um, Obviously, I didn't have a dad. He died when I was young, so it was just mom and us, and
I'm
we
so
all.
sorry.
Oh, girl, it's fine. I didn't even know
I
him.
didn't know about when did your father
I
pass?
was only 3, so I'm like, I have no memory, nothing.
That is some
So
deep shit.
I know, right? And it's like, and it's crazy because he died at age 33, and I'm 32, and I'm turning 33 in January. And I'm always like, it's funny because when my sister she's now 37, but when she was in her 33 years, she was all paranoid thinking she was going to die. And now I feel like, oh my God, I'm about to be 33. I'm like,
Stop
come
it,
on, I'm not going
V.
to fucking die at 33. But he
Listen,
died at
it's
33. Isn't that
crazy.
interesting?
Because listen, 3 he passed and you were 3?
I didn't even think about it. Girl,
3.
you just unlocked the whole fucking thing. 333. The Jesus number, 33. Oh my God, I didn't even think about all this stuff. Oh my gosh. We are just, me and him must have been connected in some, I, girl, I'm mind blown right now. I didn't even connect those dots. See, you see details. I don't see details. Like, I don't even
He's
see
like,
the
I'm
details.
just going.
I'm like, I didn't even think about that. That's because everything is the couple things that are planned in life is our birth and our death and the people that we're going to meet, right? And so
Mhm.
he knew. I mean, not he knew, but like on a no one knows consciously, the day, but
Yeah.
on a soul level, before coming to this planet, he
You know.
knew
Yeah.
he would do it at that time. At age 33, October 17th. And I still remember the day. My mom was drilled into my head. He died October 17th at 3 p.m. Isn't that crazy?
Girl.
Oh
Oh
my
my
gosh.
gosh.
What's up with the threes?
We're unlocking something.
I know. I swear, because I just remember because my mom was very good with numbers. She always memorized when we were younger. I'm like, shit, she would have been good with astrology because she was like, you were born at 12:26 a.m. and your brother was born. Like, she memorized numbers, like math numbers, like a
Wow.
genius. So it's like, yeah, I'm like, if she was in astrology, she would have been doing all of our birth charts in the 90s, but she wasn't into that shit. But not shit, because astrology is great. But I'm
Yeah.
just saying, like, but I really was born at 12:26 a.m. because she drilled these times in my mind. So I still remember till this day when my dad was when he died was at 3 p.m. So now I'm
I'm
like, oh my
sorry.
gosh, all these threes. That girl is cool. And my
Ooh.
mom passed away at 12:22 a.m. 222. What are the odds?
Oh my gosh. How old are you?
Well, my mom died just in 2017. So that was I just turned 25 at that time. Literally.
Wow.
Wait, I think, hold on, let me count on my fingers. Wait. 2017, 18, 19, 20. Wait. 18, 19, 21, 23. Yeah, I think, no, I just turned 26. Wait, fuck. Why am I? It doesn't matter. The point of the matter, she died 3 days after my birthday on January. My birthday's January 1st. She died on January 4th. So, and she died at 12:22 a.m. on January 4th. So at least she made it through my birthday. But when she passed, this is where my journey really like took off,
Mm-hmm.
was after she passed, as far as like doing what I'm doing for others. Because most of my life, I remember, like I was saying before, the psychic stuff, I just, I knew I had gifts. I could see things coming, but I kept it to myself. I'm like, you know what I mean? I never thought I would do this as a profession. I never thought I would do this as a living. Never in my life thought I would be doing this. That's kind of how
Really?
you know something's your purpose. If you just like, I never saw this coming. I really didn't even see this coming. Talk about did not Dutch. Bitch, you're a psychic. You didn't see this shit coming. No, I did not.
Wow.
But yeah, that's when it really started, like as far as like focusing on after she passed. And then right after she passed, a week later my grandma died.
Yes.
And so with both of them passing all in my birthday, like right after my birthday, it's just like, and my grandma's born on January 1st. Can you believe that? My grandma's born on my same birthday. Wild, right? We're all connected, right? In this big scheme of things.
Oh my God. Like, if you don't mind, you don't need to answer, but like, how'd you do it to get through that?
No, I actually don't mind sharing, because it was going back in time in that month of January because I'm like, woo, happy birthday. But of course, I was feeling shitty on my birthday because I knew my mom, she had
Oh
pancreatic
shit.
cancer. So I already knew like, I'm
Yeah.
like, half happy birthday, yay, and half like, she could go at any moment, right? But after her and my grandma passed, my aunt ended up passing at the end of January. Death comes in threes, right? Oh my God, the three again. Okay, sorry.
Girl, I didn't know that were you close to your aunt?
She was on my dad's side of the family. I would say not completely close, but it was still like, going to a funeral. It was like going to so many funerals in 1 month was just so draining. I mean, obviously, right? It was just
Jeez.
like it's one thing after another, all the like darkness, heaviness, grief, and it was just a lot. So going back to how I got through it, because I'm technically still in it, going
Yeah,
through
no,
it
yeah, yeah.
technically, but that month felt like I'm trying to go back in the past because that month felt like a blur. It did. It was like I didn't sleep, I didn't eat. Actually my eating habits have permanently changed since actually once my mom was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. She was diagnosed in 2016 in September, died in January, a couple
Oh
months
my
later, right?
God.
Yeah, it happened so quickly. And as soon as she was diagnosed in September, my eating habits just stopped. Like it just everything changed. Everything did. Like I would not eat until I would it's like I would only eat a little bit because my hunger just turned off. It was just so strange. That's how like even before she passed, like that's how connected me and this bitch is. It's like I couldn't even eat. And so and actually it still stayed with me till this day. I still only eat like once a day. Usually at like evening times, and I still get it's just weird. It's still so I know my body is still there's still something deep going on. They say I think there's a book they said the body remembers, right? And I
Yes,
and I
girl.
and I
Yes.
and I haven't I know there's a book. I think the book's called The Body Keeps Score, right? I think that's what the
Yes,
book's called.
yes. Uh-huh. Yeah.
I haven't read it, but I heard of it. And now I feel like now the fact that I brought it up, I think I should read it. The reason why I'm bringing it up is because I heard of that theory, but now living through it these last years, it's a very true thing because my body is still not what are the odds that my hunger patterns changed right at that time and it hasn't gotten back, where right before that happened, I was living great, eating good, now all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I can too full, can't eat, but I think my body is obviously still processing this, even though mentally and emotionally, like I feel like I'm still moving forward. And I think the best way for me that have been getting through it these last years is just focusing on really living my life. So I'm doing the opposite of dying or just being still. It's like I've been actively living my life. So she died January 2017. I was still in Maryland. I was in Maryland at that time. And that summer, I randomly had this feeling. Actually, I was having dreams of doing psychic readings. I realized spirit was trying to get me to like get on that path,
Wow.
right? Yeah, I started having dreams right after she passed. I was having all these crazy space dreams, more dreams about my psychic stuff. Them telling me, you got to do it. And so now it's kicked up a notch now. And I realized I think it's because my energy was spent focused on my mom my entire life before
Yes.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I had psychic stuff, but a lot of my energy went towards her and taking care of her and helping her through her life. I mean, yeah, she's a parent, but I mean, I was, it's sometimes roles get reversed. So I always had that caretaker role. So I'm like, I got to make sure she's good. Then I'll worry about myself later. And that's how I always live my life. So when she passed, the first thing, and I'm telling you, Cynthia, I don't think I've told him. I don't know if I said this to anyone, but first thing I said to myself, first freaking thing. And I wrote it out and, I told you I'm a writer. So I
Yeah.
wrote, I told myself to document everything in my iPhone notes because I documented since she was about to pass, when she first got diagnosed, because I wanted to reflect on it in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And first thing I wrote down right after she passed was, what am I supposed to do now for the rest of my life? Like, what's my identity?
Oh shit.
And so that was the first wake up call for me where I realized my whole life was intertwined with this woman. And I really was scared because I realized, what am I going to do now? where's my identity? And that scared me because I realized, damn, she really consumed my world. Or not like in a mean way. I mean it like
No, yeah.
just it
You
is
were
what it
like,
is. Like I really was consumed with all the, because it was so much unpredictability, so much chaos, so much like up and down and so much stuff. And she had her own issues, and she was a single mom, and she's lonely, and she would call, you know, she would do, she would call the school, and she would, elementary or middle school and high school, she would call and say, I need my daughter to come home because I'm feeling sick or something. And she would just have me come home just to be with her.
oh
And
my.
or just to take care of her, or if she felt like she was going to have a seizure, she would call me, and I would walk a mile and a half from school by myself to take care of her. So that's, so if you, so this is, if you're getting the glimpse, this is how my first half of my life was.
Holy
So
crap, girl. A lot of responsibility on little you. Holy shit.
it was, it is, and it was. And so I just took it with so much, you know, typical Capricorn stuff. I took it with so much dignity and honor. Like, I am honored, you know, to be needed, you know. But now as an adult, I'm way looking at it differently now. Now I'm like, oh, hell no, I'm not being responsible for anyone. But I find myself still playing out this role in certain aspects, though. So that's something
Really?
that I've been actively working on, even though I'm not, obviously, she's not here anymore. But I find myself, even when it comes to like, even certain like friendships or relationships or like even business stuff, like I find myself going the extra mile for people to make sure like they're good. But I'm like, wait a minute, like, why am I doing this? Like, these people are grown adults, they are capable. And that's what has been my current theme, like that I've been working on, that's been resurfacing this last month, is making sure that I allow someone to be, they need to take full responsibility and be a grown adult. And if they need assistance, they can ask, but I don't need to go up and beyond, you know, to make sure they're good. You know, they're an adult. They can figure it out or communicate it to me. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that's something that I've been realizing, that I've been overextending myself sometimes to people. And I realize, because it's what I used to do with my mother. And that's something that has been popping up as I've been working through that lately. Actually, that's been the major theme of letting that go. Like that, it's like an instinct. You know, I still feel very like it's very much in me to still do that with others.
It's like an obligation. Like, do you ever get drained? It's like, do you ever get like when it comes up, it's like you're tired, but like you still do it, or no?
Absolutely, yes. Absolutely, yes.
Oh, when I tell you
Yeah.
it's a trauma response.
It is. It absolutely is. It absolutely is. And it is something that my traumatic ass is working through for real, because I'm like, I know it's like a mind fuck when you
Yes.
logically know something,
Yes.
and then yet like your action doesn't go with the lot. Like, logically, you know damn well you should just, like, girls, don't do it. Don't do it. But then you impulsively still do it. And then you feel like shit. Like, oh my God, now I'm angry. You know what I mean?
I do a lot of that, yeah.
I think,
Why did I do
you
it?
know,
Why am I still doing it?
right. And I think it's just human nature, honestly. To like, no, it's like that weird, I don't know what it is, but it's just a mind fuck. But what I'm also learning is that, you know, I'll make mistakes. You know, I make mistakes, and I'm sure I'll make more because we're human.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
We're
It's
human,
accepting.
you know? Yeah.
You know, it's like, it's unrealistic for me to expect, like, oh, I did some work on myself, I'm good. Like, nah, man, this is just forever. And it's
Yeah.
cool because it's fun. And that's why my best way to get through grief is by living my goddamn life and by being present. Yes, I got all these trauma, the stuff with the responsibility. That responsibility thing is huge. Even when I was younger, I was in I will never forget, this lady told me that, you know, you're way too responsible for your mom, blah, 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 blah. And that was like in eighth, like when I was like 12, I was already being told this, but I still just kept trucking on because I'm like, who the fuck's going to look after this lady but me? That's, I'm like, me and my mom must have had some kind of like, we had some interesting past lives. So it's like, I'm not too shocked that the dynamic played itself the way it did. But, but yeah, didn't expect to go that deep in my grief. But you know, it's good to talk about, because I'm sure there is someone out there, there might be someone out there who had to take care of a parent who gets what I'm, you know what I mean, who gets it, you know what I mean, like, it's just it's hard. It's just hard because yourself is secondary, and it's weird as a child to think like you're secondary, you know, because who the fuck's taking care of me if I'm taking care of you, you know what I mean? So
You want
that,
something so interesting? Your Chiron's in Cancer, right?
Yes, it is in the 10th house.
Okay, that's funny because Raise is in Cancer too, and I like, I'm not really into astrology, but I've just like that family wound. Not gonna like trauma dump for my husband, but like he had like the whole like at 6 making food for him and his sister, and like making sure his mom was okay. So like I just find that
Interesting.
I find that interesting with just looking at that like placement and like the family wound. And like
Yes, I never thought about it like that.
and seeing how you have you're very very private, and then Trey is the same way. He's very private, very like Trey doesn't have Instagram, he doesn't have TikTok, like,
right.
mm-hmm.
Like if I didn't have a business, I probably wouldn't really be on. I would probably be one of those like one of those like profiles where you have it but just to look at like funny shit. That's
yes.
what I would like. I still actually that's all I really do technically on Instagram. I just look at funny shit, but I just don't really like I'm just like that. I'm very private. Don't really feel like posting much, but I'm like, I'm a business, so I kind of have to. But in my dream world, I would just delete everything. And I'm like, just go on my website, guys, and find me. But I know realistically in this day and age, you gotta have some kind of presence.
You can't do that.
What'd you say?
I was like, you're basically you can't do that. It, like, even though you have that, like it's really interesting. What's your rising sign?
Libra.
Trey's rising sign is Libra.
No way! This is getting interesting.
Listen, Trey's rising sign is Libra, and I have some friends with that same sign, and I'm telling you, like, I feel like there's something that like Libra, like rising, where like aside from the fact of you being private and that Chiron, and I'm speaking for you and Trey.
Right.
You guys are like the energy that you bring, your personality. It's like the life of the party, like no conflict.
Exactly.
Like we're cool. I'm not gonna pop off, and like even I with Trey, like even if like you piss him off, like I'm just gonna like keep my distance.
I was just gonna say I'll distance myself. That's exactly my response. Exactly. So true.
Just blown. Wow, Vee.
I know, right? Seriously, I didn't even like think about these things. Like this is like some deep shit. This is cool.
Right? I'm just like, oh my gosh. Okay. All right. So when did you move from Ireland to where you're at?
In 2017. Everything happened all in that year.
Okay, hold on, girl. How old were you?
Okay, 2017. Why can't I remember how old I am? Okay, if I'm born in 91, 2001. Like my brain is like not short circuiting right now.
Yeah.
Okay. 2000.
Okay. So in Mercury's in retrograde, right?
I was 26. Okay, just did the math. I was 26. So I just turned 26 on January 1st. So so 2017 I was 26 years old.
Oh
yes, that's
God.
what it was. So 26.
That was big for you. That was big for you.
It was a big transformative year. Now thinking about it, it's like once the beginning of the year started with mom and grandma and everyone gone, it was just a weird in between space. And it wasn't until the summertime where that's where shit started to get real for me, where I started to do practice readings. Remember when I was saying earlier I was saying I was getting dreams and stuff about really I had dreams of me doing readings. And I was like, you're fucking right, And I forgot to say this, on New Year's Eve that year, 2016, going in the new year, right before my mom passed, there was this in Virginia. It's called Alexandria, Virginia, and it's right outside of DC. And that's where I used to always hang out there. And Old Town, that's what it's called. But anyway, there was this place, this little metaphysical shop, and they were doing readings, right? Little mini readings for the new year. And I went to this lady, I was kind of like, I've always been into like mystical stuff. You know what I mean? I was always open-minded. I wasn't like a complete Capricorn cynical
Yeah.
asshole, So I still had an openness to me, So I said, fuck it. I'm already miserable about my mom's shit. It's New Year's Eve and here I am going to a metaphysical shop instead of partying like the rest of my young people. And that's another thing. I've always felt old. You know what I mean? I've always been an
Yeah.
old ass bitch, like in a young person's look, but I'm really
Hmm.
old. So I'm like, this is my kind of night, just chilling with the spirits, telling these old ladies about, let's see what's going to happen. So I went to see this reader and she goes and tells me, and this, I'll never forget it. I said, I'm worried about my mom. She goes, I feel like she's going to be leaving soon. And damn, she was right. Obviously, she
No.
left a couple days later. And then right after that, she goes, you have a soul contract to be a psychic in this life. You're going to be doing exactly what I'm doing, like right here and right now, how I'm giving readings. She says, believe it or not, you will do this one day and you will leave any 3D third dimensional job. And once you do the psychic stuff, you will feel such relief, like because it's what you're supposed to be doing. And I said, what? So then I went home that night. I couldn't shake it, because I already knew I had all the psychic stuff. So I'm like, damn, that bitch was good because, I never told anyone about my psychic stuff really, So I'm like, damn, she's good. Right.
Yeah.
So I just couldn't shake it, And so I think her planting that seed, it already ignited. So now flash forward to like summertime 2017. That's when I started to do practice readings. I started to do like email readings, like, free stuff, just trying to like, just to play around with it. And once I started to get like decent feedback, I was like, holy shit, this is real. Okay. Because it's hard when you're just used to getting psychic stuff within your own self. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
if it's just you, it's great, when it's just you, but it's like you don't know, like when it comes to dealing with a stranger, how it's, basically putting your shit to the test, So I was nervous as a motherfucker though, I'm like, oh my God, once again, my responsibility energy. I feel responsible if something goes wrong in this reading. I feel responsible if what if I'm wrong? So I
Yeah.
had to work through that because my spirit guides I was channeling all this great information. I mean, everything I would be nervous about, my spirit guides would give me a rebuttal, which I really appreciated at that time. Because I would say, well, I'm worried about being wrong. What if I'm wrong and I steer this person the wrong way? And they would tell me, my spirit guides, all they would say, um, you are not responsible what someone chooses to do with their own free will. And I was like,
Yes.
oh. And then he's
Hmm.
like, and karmically speaking, there is no karma. After someone leaves your presence or reading, that's on their own free will what they choose to do. And you don't want to hold that weight on yourself. And I was like, oh, well, thank you, thank
Hmm.
you. And then the fear of being wrong, and that's the thing with the psychic stuff. It's like working through the fear of being wrong. It's really not about
Yes.
fear of being wrong. It's like really fear of failure. It's both of them intertwined. There's a lot of soul lessons on this psychic journey for anyone who wants to go further on this journey. You have to work through fear of failure and fear of being wrong or perfectionism, whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
because you're never going to succeed. Actually, I believe it doesn't matter if you're doing psychic shit or anything in life. You can't be successful if you hold those fears. If those fears override your belief in yourself and your excitement for what you want to do for anything in life, it's going to be hard to find success. So it's
Hmm.
really important, even though it's hard to eradicate fear, but we can do our best to put at least one step forward with a little bit of optimism despite the fears. The fears may never go away, but when your faith and your self-esteem starts to override, it starts to get, and better. I'm telling you, the fears become quieter. They may never go away, because even sometimes, even till this day, it I would say now it's been years I've been doing this, but um do I still get nervous? A little bit. Believe it
A
or not, I
little
still
bit.
do. A little bit. Not too much, not as much as when I first started, but sometimes I do. And because like I said, I'm human. It's a human experience, You want to do your best, you want to whatever, but at the same time, I've gotten to the point where the one thing that helps me move through nervous energy, especially, and this is advice to anyone out there,
Yes.
whether it's whether you're wanting to practice as a psychic or just do anything in life, anything of service to others, like when you're providing a service, you know, like you said, you know, some people, even if you're like a cook and you want to make sure, like, oh my God, I'm a chef and I want to make sure my food's good and hopefully they like it. You know, it's still the same energy, whatever you're doing in life, right? So the best way to get through the nerves, what I've done is I make peace and tell myself, when after I do a session or before I do a session or whatever I do, I say, I did the very best fucking job I could possibly do in this moment. And I accept that I did the best I could. And
Mm-hmm.
with having that mentality before and after, that is what helps me move through a lot of nervous energy, is confirming and affirming for myself that, because technically it's true, at any given moment, we are doing the best we can.
Yes.
And who are we to say that we're not doing it good enough? If you genuinely had good intentions and put your 100% in it, who are you to be an asshole to yourself, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I've learned over the years. It's like, you know, just being cool, just being basically cool with who I am and just accepting myself and be like, fuck it, I'm gonna just have fun and just enjoy and see what happens, you know?
Mm-hmm. Wow. That's one thing you did teach me, is I remember so many readings that I've had with you. You sat here and you told me, like, you know, it's okay when you're like, you know, like go with whatever like comes, and like it's okay if you're wrong, you know?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Because here's the thing with reading anyone or reading any kind of energy. You as an intuitive, well, anyone who's intuitive, I'm not saying you literally, I'm just, you know what I mean? So
Yes.
anyone who's an intuitive, when we're reading someone's energy or reading someone's path or reading whatever, remember, we are psychically tapping into not only their current trajectory path, their current emotions, and being hit in the face with all of their energy, but as an intuitive, you're also seeing so many different probabilities, so
Mm-hmm.
many different aspects of that person's self. And so that person may or may not resonate with some things you're saying, because it could be an aspect of themselves that you as an intuitive can see that they don't see or realize yet. Or it could be
Yes.
something that they just be like, I don't get it, I don't understand. And that's okay, because with time things usually make sense. And so it's really hard in this, I would say in this line of work, it's really hard to because it's not a logical thing, you know.
Yes.
When you're dealing with spirits, we're using the creative brain, we're using the other aspects of ourselves, we're not using logic. Now if we're doing something logical, A plus B equals C, you're wrong, bitch, you know, in a logical mathematical term, that makes sense. But when it deals with spirituality, it's more flexible, it's more adaptable, it's more changeable, it's energy, everything's just moving and shaking. So it's just dealing with it in a whole different way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The whole time you're talking, I was listening, but I feel your mother strongly. I'm just letting you know.
Oh, I bet. I mean, I conjured her up. I mean, I bet. I literally bet. You know, one time she came to me in a dream, and I actually was looking. I write down all my dreams, and I was scrolling through it the other day actually, and I randomly came across one of my dreams where she sat down next to me, and she said that
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could have protected you better when you were younger.
Oh.
Yeah, and I thought that was really sweet, because you know, when you're on the other side, of course you can see, you know,
Mm-hmm.
everything. You know, when you die, you see the life review, you see everything. And we just always been kindred spirits. So I know you, I'm sure you do feel around, because I feel her too. Because I'm conjuring her up every time I talk. Not a day goes by that I don't think about this lady. I mean, not a day. Like we're like the same soul, basically. Not the same soul, but it's like I don't really partake in the twin flame stuff, but if I had to, she would be mine.
Yes. Yes. I feel that. I feel that strongly. Ooh, girl. Mm.
Yeah, I like a lot of people like twin flame romantic, but I'm like, nah, man, it's deeper than that. It's deeper than that. It's way deeper. But I don't like to talk on the twin flame topic because I don't. That's a
Yeah.
that's a topic I'm very controversial, so I don't really believe in it too much. But if I were, my mom would be the one. Because I
Yes.
just don't. I just, you know what wait, I'm gonna just keep my mouth. Nope, I'm not gonna keep my mouth shut. You see this damn Mercury in my damn Sagittarius. I can't. Can't keep my mouth shut. But you know what irritates me about the twin flame thing is I do believe, could it possibly be real? Yeah, I do. Actually, I think it actually could be very real. But the problem is the interpretations over the last decades. And I think we're hearing everyone else's interpretations instead of feeling it with your own fucking gut feeling.
Yes.
You know, and that's why I'm really a firm believer in like building your intuition so that when you hear a piece of information, you can feel if it makes sense for you and don't just go with it just because some popular person just fucking saying it. You know what I mean? Like, does it really sit with you, you know?
And I like a lot of people like over romanticize it.
Yeah, that's what it is. Maybe that's what it is. Cause I'm like, I'm sure it's probably real, but I just don't, you're right. That's the word. Thank you. Over romanticize.
People over romanticize it, and it's, you know, kind of like what you said, like if it were a thing, like I would say like you and your mom, you know, would be one, but no.
Yeah, that was my feeling too, my gut feeling for years. I said if I had to have one, it would be her, because I can just it's just so, you know, but I don't think it's as I think we all are each other's counterparts.
Yes.
I think in the bigger picture, that's how I think. I think bigger than just me and my divine masculine and my divine feminine. It's I get it. We all have divine feminine masculine within each other, but I don't believe it's just found in one person.
Yes.
And that's where my philosophy differs. Do we have twin flames? Absolutely. But I feel like we can have more than one. Why is it out there that we can only have one? Who put that rule there? God is unlimited. We're unlimited beings. Why is it only one? That never made intuitive sense to me. I believe humanity within itself is each other's counterparts.
And now that we're on the topic, it's like you can relate, but a lot of people, they're like, oh, like is he like love things? I don't mind doing them, but like, you know, you have the people that are like, and I'm like, there's not just one person.
Thank you. It's so hard to like, I think this is like the hardest thing to like navigate with people is like putting the understanding that we have many, quote, the ones. And I think that's a hard concept to like, we have been, since we were younger, it's like, you know, we think of all the movies, it's romance. It's one guy for the rest of your life, one woman, one guy for the rest of your life. And that's it. And you need to find that one who just gets you, right? And it's true. You know, you got to find the one. But you're right. There are so many ones. And that's why you ever notice like with a lot of us, remember that we can think about different glimpses of our life. We found, quote, the one, you know, when we get out of high, oh, I found the one. But then the one lasted for a couple of years. And then it's like, and then you get emotional and depressed. And then all of a sudden you find, oh my God, I think he's the one. You notice how many times we always say, well, you found the one. That should be our signal to let us be known that we live in a free existence, but why do we choose to limit ourselves to one linear way of thinking? But I guess it's because on this planet, we have linear time. So everything's about linear, 1 + 1, you know what I mean? Everything's just linear. But, and I'm not saying this like to say like, I'm like Polynarius, because I'm not, I am not, but I'm saying it in a way as in, we don't give ourselves enough freedom to explore what and who is aligned for us, because we're so fucking like laser like focused that it has to be him, it has to be this person, it has to be this thing, because without it I'll never find another thing again. It's always that fear of loss that we're all holding on to people because we fear losing them. But my God, we got to give ourselves a chance to like, you know, align. There's always going to be another, you know, with like billions of people on this planet, you think there's just one? Please. So as you know, like you said, it's the soulmate stuff. You know, we have thousands and trillions of soulmates, some romantic, some platonic friendships. You know, soulmates manifest in all forms, right? So you're absolutely right. Those love readings are very tricky because, you know, you don't want to like interfere with someone's beliefs. You know what I mean? I always try to do my best to like, you know, if they believe in twin flames, I try to, you know, roll with it. I'm not like, I sound preachy as fuck, but I don't preach it in a reading. You know what I mean? I'm like, if you want to go, if you believe that, I'm cool with it, and I'll meet you on that level, because it's not my place to persuade someone something, and that's weird. You know, I think people have the right to believe what they want to believe, even if it differs from mine. We can still be cool and relate, and I can still read your energy, even with different beliefs. I've read people who are strict Christians, and like, you know, believe it or not, I actually have people be, you know, on the DL, on the down low and shit, coming to me.
No,
but
really, for
yeah,
real?
I've actually met, I've read really deep religious people, believe it or not. So it's like, it just goes to show. And that's why I always believe, like, as long as you know, I don't, even though I don't, you know, remember like I was saying how we both were raised Catholic, like I don't hold that against no one who's still in that faith. Like whatever works for you. If that makes you a good person, great, you know. But that's what I was saying. Like, whatever someone's beliefs they bring to me, it doesn't matter, because you know why? In the bigger scheme of things, I like to directly go straight into the root of things,
Mm-hmm.
even deeper than belief. There's belief, and then there's knowing. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so belief is is like it's strong. It's a strong fucking energy. But right after belief, one little millimeter above it is a knowing,
Mm-hmm.
which is even deeper than a belief, believe it or not. And so how I like to penetrate, like, through someone's beliefs through reading, I'm like, I don't want to, I just want to talk on a soul to soul level. Let's leave our beliefs and all this stuff behind, and let's just be soul to soul,
Mm-hmm. So deep. Maybe this is why I feel like connection with you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I guess I'm a pretty profound bitch.
No, really. So like, what advice would you give someone that, wants to go on and like pursue, you know, doing readings? What advice would you give someone to do that?
Ooh, good question. Okay. Um, this is what I would, okay. This is definitely what I would say. For someone who actually wants to do this, I would,
Wasn't in the question.
no. I'm thinking, no. Because no. There's I'm trying to think of which is the most important thing. That's my brain's just going to do two different ways, because I'm thinking of, nope, found it. I know what the most important thing is. Self-esteem. It's self-esteem.
Self-esteem.
You got. I don't give a fuck how much you trained, how much books you read, how many classes you took, how many crystals you got, how many rituals you do. It does not matter. When you are reading someone's energy, and if you want to be completely clear and accurate, you are going to have to work on your self-esteem first and foremost. Everything is built upon that. Even with all the spiritual tricks and trades, your self-esteem is extremely important, because without it, how the hell? Because, and it's what I always teach people, doing readings or being intuitive, or I'm going to just say doing a reading, for example, it is 80% faith in yourself and 20% actual skill set. So that's
Okay.
why I am a firm advocate for really working on yourself first before going down this. I mean, not working on yourself, because look at me. I'm not like, what do I say? We can never, I don't mean work on yourself like, oh, you got to be perfect before you do this,
No,
because
yeah.
I'm imperfect as fucking still doing this. What I'm saying is there has to be some kind of firm belief in yourself that, no, like like, sometimes we can distract ourselves. We can think we believe in ourselves when we're like, well, I'm learning, I'm taking the right classes, I'm reading the books, I'm
Yeah.
watching the YouTube lectures. So you might be doing the right things, and and you think you're gaining a self-esteem through that, but you need to have outside of doing the spiritual classes and stuff, you need to have a fundamental belief in yourself in all areas of your life, not just the spiritual part or the psychic part of yourself. And that, I believe, is what guarantees a beautiful path as a psychic, because it means that any shit that comes your way, any shit that someone says to you, or anything that you may run into, or whatever, your self-esteem will protect you, because your belief in yourself is your protection. When I say protection, I mean like you just got to believe in yourself, basically. And that's just step one. The step one, if you want to start on this journey.
I feel
Yeah.
like it has a lot to do with like inner work, because I remember like I used to like go to you and be like, Vee, like where do I, and a lot of the things, it's so crazy, a lot of the things that you channel for me, like after our sessions I'd be like, oh, I don't want that, and like in the moment like I wasn't ready,
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
like
I
it's
know.
so funny, because now like I'm telling you, girl, I remember what one time I was telling you like, oh, like, how do I get myself out there, like, whatever, thrive, and you dead ass told me, you're like, girl, like speak, and I was just like, but I am no, Cynthia. you were like, oh, go on and like speak on stuff, and during that time I was like in a really low point. Every single reading I think we've had, I've cried, okay?
And that's okay. I feel very honored that you trust me enough to open up. So actually, I take that as a compliment.
Yeah, it was, yeah. So like, it's just so crazy because if anyone is like in the same boat as me, like I'm letting you know, like patience is one of the things like I feel like you have, told me in every single one of the readings that I've had with you.
Exactly.
And like everything you've said true. It's just with like, with my Virgo act, like I want it now.
Right.
Where is it? And I forgot when it was. Oh, it was last year, V, is when you were like, oh, speak. And then I would meditate on it and spirit would say speak. And I'm like, no, give me something else. And spirit was speak. And then, now I guess I'm like in this space where, I do shadow work and I'm a shadow worker and I'm like trauma dumping and I'm like okay with doing it.
Isn't that beautiful? Like there is nothing, and I gotta say this, Cynthia, there is nothing more courageous. There is nothing more bold and courageous than it is to be vulnerable and to be completely yourself. And on top of that, to accept yourself through that process. And that's the fact that you said that you're like actually like cool with it now. It just means that you've gotten to this point where you are able to accept yourself moment by moment, and that allows you to open up to the world and to share yourself and to be vulnerable, because it's so hard in this world to be vulnerable. And so it's just a lot of, I just respect anyone who has the balls to do it, and to just be like, you know what, this is who I am, this is what I've been through, this is just how I am, and I'm cool with me, flaws and all, you know what I mean? I always wanted to remind everyone that I live my life like I'm extremely what's the word, like I'm just very honest with myself and others. Like I have no filter
Yeah.
at all, as you know. So I've
Yes.
always been this way. I can't think before I speak. I just can't. I don't even have the time to think before I speak. But the words blur before I can even think it. But the beautiful thing about that, the one beautiful thing, I mean, sometimes it got me in trouble because I'm like, ooh, shit, I have no tact sometimes. But other than those times, I think it's just important for people to realize on the spiritual journey that you can have flaws and imperfections and just be a normal fucking human being while also doing the damn thing spiritually. You can be both
Mm-hmm.
simultaneously. You don't have to be like this perfect, like evolved version of yourself to put yourself out there or to be a psychic. You just be you and let the rest take care of itself. And that's all how I live my life, is just be who I am, and life and everything will align itself accordingly. And that's genuinely my philosophy, is just being who I am. And hopefully that gives people, they feel free to be who they are, and maybe it's like some kind of ripple effect of inner freedom, and really trusting ourselves to just be okay with who we are and where we are from moment to moment. Because you know I'm still a fucking human being. As you hear, I still cuss, I still do these things, I still
Yeah.
I love to do regular human stuff. Just because I'm spiritual and I've had alien abductions, I don't let that be my whole entire identity. See the theme of identity, right? I
Yeah.
don't want to now as an adult. Remember what I was saying, when I was younger, I struggled with the themes of identity and trying to find stuff. And now as an adult, I'm like, you know what? My identity is just fucking being me from moment to moment. And my life has actually gotten a lot more simple. And I have way more simple philosophies now, because I realize life is really this simple. We can just have a good fucking time, eat what the fuck you want, and you could still be spiritual. Like there's so many fucking rules, and I don't like rules, and I will refuse, the inner rebel in me, I refuse to abide by these rules. Like, who are these people putting these rules in a spiritual realm or spirituality, when spirituality is literally whatever you make it? That's the whole point why people usually leave religion and go to spirituality. So they're trying to, they want more freedom in their beliefs, they want more freedom. There's usually some kind of thing, you're searching a deeper thing. And so it's like, when people, you ever hear those things like, hey, if you do this, your pineal gland's gonna be blocked, and if you
No,
do this,
really.
you're gonna fucking do this. And I'm like, y'all sound just as bad as the religious people for telling us we're gonna go to hell if we cuss. Come the fuck on. You know what I mean?
No, it's crazy because I'm telling you, I was on TikTok and someone was saying about red dye 40, and I was like, broke during the time, and like I was like eating junk, and like I went through this phase where I was like cut everything out, and it didn't go well for me. And then I was just like, you know what? They need to stop like doing stuff like that.
See, what are the odds I brought this up and you just happen to like see, you see what I'm saying?
No, really, I'm not gonna let go of my hot Cheetos, okay? Because that red dye 40's so good.
Yo, man, I've not on Cheetos in a long time. These, anything spicy is good for me. I've not on my hot Cheetos, and so, man, I used to tear them hot Cheetos up. I just haven't, it's like my taste buds go in different phases. Like now I'm over my hot Cheeto phase. I don't even, what the fuck do I eat now? I mean, I told you my fucking food has gone weird, but yeah, I believe, obviously, yes, there's chemicals and everything, no shit, right? We all are aware of it. But for someone to get all preachy on the soapbox about it, people got to live their lives and do what's best for them. And what if people don't have the fucking money to be buying all this help? Like,
no,
really,
really. Like,
seriously,
I'm over here, 3 children, and I have like a full like husband, and he works a lot and stuff, and he comes home, and like when I go grocery shopping and stuff, like I have to get the cheap shit, like
seriously, and that's real, and that's what I'm saying, like. There is no shame in that, but people all acting all sedity. I'm like, what's funny? You know what I think secretly, and this is between me and you, and not just between me and you and everyone listening, but this what I think is really funny. I joke when I see those little, like you said, the little videos of people saying, you guys know that if you do this, it's gonna, I laugh. I'm like, man, your asses probably get off this video. You probably go out and probably had, you guys probably either drink some alcohol, fucked up some potato chips right after, and talk, you know what I mean? Like, y'all act like y'all never done it. Like, shut the fuck up. That's how when I see those videos, I literally say, shut the fuck up and scroll.
I'm done.
Like, I ain't trying to hear this shit. Like, but obviously we are, we got to do what's best for our bodies with the money and resources that we can. Yes, there's chemicals and everything, but it's unrealistic to act like no one eats some like kind of like treat or something, and I'm a firm believer, and I've said this on my own podcast, and I have to say it again. Eating something with a little bit of like a chemical in it is not going to take you out spiritually. Like, they act like by eating this Cheeto, you're going to lose all of your spiritual gifts.
Oh,
you're going to block it all.
I eat hot Cheetos after I do like mediumship reading, okay?
It grounds me. But yeah, seriously, like I always laugh. I'm like, guys, this taking like eating a little bit of junk food here and there is not going to take your whole spirituality out. Can it impact your body, your physical vessel? Absolutely. Here, and if you're like eating it like a dietitian would say, in this physical, going off the physical reality, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we eat like obviously like 30 bags of chips a day, obviously it's going to impact our physical health. No shit, right? But here, just eating whatever you want here and there, whatever. It's like all this judgy, you know what I mean? The judgment energy that I always try to stay away from. But I guess I could sound judgy by judging them for having their opinion. I guess in a weird way, I guess I'm judging their asses too. So I guess it's human nature, right? But I don't really, I'm saying in kind of a joking way. I don't mean malicious judgment. I just saying like, who are these people making these rules? And technically some things, yes, can impact our whatever brain and things, the chemicals can, from these foods can, impact the brain, of course. So I get it. But at the same time, let's be real with ourselves. We all have a nice meal from time to time. Me, I could go for some barbecue right now. So, and I will eat barbecue, give me some ribs and stuff. Like, it's not the end of the world. Yeah. It is not. And look at me. I'm not a vegan. And there's nothing wrong with veganism. I tried it actually, but it just didn't work for me. I would say, if anything, I'd probably be more of a vegetarian if I had to be. But anyway, but no, I still like my meat. That's why I just said barbecue. I still love meat. I still love chicken. I really love chicken. Chicken's really my go-to thing more than, I don't really eat a lot more stuff. It's really just chicken. But anyway, if I've been eating the way I've been eating and somehow I am still very much in tune and connected, I can only go off my own experience. Again, I'm not these scholars on TikTok that know everything. So, joking. So, sorry, that was actually kind of funny now thinking about it. My sarcasm. Okay. But here's what I go off my own personal experience. If I've been on this planet for 32 years and I consider myself a normal American person who just eats normal food. Obviously I don't eat as much anymore, but I'm just a normal person. And I still have my gifts. They're still intact. They're still strong. I'm still out here accurate in my readings. Nothing has really changed. So I take that as a sign that something, maybe it's not as bad, my gifts weren't impacted. my clairvoyance is still strong. Nothing has really changed with me, but I guess, I know that technically every person is different from person to person.
Yes.
So I can only speak for me. Maybe the people on TikTok, maybe it impacted them, maybe. So maybe that's why they wanted, people are only sharing their personal experiences or maybe stuff they read on the internet. So it's
Yes.
like, we can't take what someone's preaching, even myself, even people listen to me. We can't take it so literally because remember, just like even when I'm talking, it's just based off my own personal experience. And we share as humans our own personal experiences. And if someone relates to it, great. And if they don't, that's where I get the eye roll and shut the fuck up and keep scrolling. You know what I mean? It is what it is.
Yeah.
And that's the beautiful thing, because I feel like people have the right to share if chemicals are going to block your third eye. They have the right to share that. I have the right to have my opposition opinion. And I think that's what makes the world go around. I think it's beautiful, actually. Like, I'm what's the word? I'm wasn't there a movie? Was there a movie called The Great Debaters? Or am I hallucinating?
I'm not deep into movies like you are.
Yeah, I think there was. Or I'm like, why am I thinking of Aquila and the Bee? That's nothing to do with debate, but it's like, no. No, The Great Debaters. I don't know where I'm getting this word from. I swear there has to be a movie, but I always feel like I'm very much like a debating person. Like, that's why I'm like, I love contrast, and I love that I love that we all have different opinions. I love that we all uniquely have unique experiences, whether we agree or disagree. I just, in the bigger picture sense, like, sometimes I can see myself, like, visualize myself outside of this planet, looking down and smiling, like, oh, look at everyone having their
Oh
little
my
differences.
goodness.
And yeah, I sometimes see it like that when I'm like meditating, and it's like, sometimes I look at this planet and I'm like, wow, look at these humans, like, really focusing on the one, like the differences more than the similarities. But I still think it's great that we all are different, but yet similar. We all bleed and we all take a shit. Let's be real here. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, unless someone tells me they don't take a shit, then goddamn, you're a fucking AI robot. But everyone takes shits, everyone bleeds. And that's how I say, you know what? I can't take shit. I can't take anything too seriously. And that's another philosophy of mine. Is I don't take much too seriously. I don't personalize things. Maybe that's just a Capricorn in me, right? Earth sign, don't take it personal, but I don't, because I realize, how could I take personal someone else's journey and their mentality? That's their life. They came to their own thoughts and conclusions. Why would I take that personally? That's when people get up in arms about having differing opinions, I'm like, y'all wasting your energy. But I'd be laughing in the comments, you know what I mean? You ever
I'll be looking and I'll just be like just busting up laughing, like, who is this?
Yeah, yo, I mean, like, man, I have been really intentional on social media lately, like, when it comes to like what I like take in. Now everything that I take in on social media is nothing but funny memes and funny videos and funny things, because I realize, like, but even in the funny stuff, people still argue, and I'm like, I'm laughing. I'm like, why y'all like, it just makes me laugh. So anyone else out there who likes to comment, read, and laugh, you ain't the only one. We all out here secretly, like, I'm on my phone at night, like, laughing like a hyena and shit at these reels and shit. Like, I'm just dying, and I'm just being more intentional. Although I don't post as much on my own personal social media unless it's really about business, but I usually just use social media just to laugh, because I'm like, you know what? The internet is its own virtual reality, right? Even though it's not like we plugged in, but we're plugged in, if you know what I mean. And so, with this virtual reality, technically we are in control of it, because once we put our phones down, the virtual reality ceases to exist. Isn't that funny? And so, why not be intentional with this virtual reality instead of just absorbing all of this? Because, it's an energy. That's another thing. It's like, this is the reason why everyone's so miserable, is because social media is an energy within itself. And so it's like, and it's like, even though you don't have to be the most psychic person in the world, but it's like, when you read, for example, you ever go on someone's post, like someone who's going through a really tough time, you can just feel it, like, even in their caption, when they're like talking about something, you can just feel it. And it's like, we're bombarded with so much information overload. Like, I was like, if you think about, like, going back into like the early 2000s, like, I'm getting really old now, like, when the internet wasn't really that poppin', we weren't exposed to this much information. It was just kind of like the people who we physically saw in real life, you know how it was, like, back in the old days. The old days, But it was just, I don't know, it was just different, it was just different. But basically what I'm saying is, this virtual reality on the internet, we got to be intentional so we don't always absorb all this shit. So that's why I'm like, you know what? I'm using this shit for fun. The internet can be a scary place, or it can be a fun place. It can
Hmm.
be, it can be both. It can be a wild place. It can be a, and you want to be careful because there's so many different I don't know. There's just so many different energies and projections. Like even the social media companies, they know what they're doing. You know what I mean? It's all
Yep.
intentional. So that's why I combat their intentions with my fucking intentions. So y'all intentions ain't gonna affect me and override me. So just for that, I'm competitive, bitch. I'm
Yes.
competitive. I'm competing against social. I'm competing against any kind of manipulative tactics that any corporate overlord wants to do on humanity. And that's why I'm a firm believer in building our self-esteems, loving who we are, being able to focus, let go of the bullshit so that we can focus on what's really matters, which is making, finding the light within and sharing that light with the world. Because if we don't know our own light, we're always going to be waiting for someone to tell us what our light is. And you don't want to sit around and wait for someone to
Yeah.
tell you, oh, you're a good person. Oh, you're this. Oh, you're that. Because then you're going to feel miserable always waiting for it. And that's why I'm like, no, I'm here to just tell people like, nah, nah, nah. We are not going to sit here anymore and wait around for some kind of like thing, person, situation, experience to make us feel like, oh, okay, I am good to go. No, fuck that. You counteract it by just, for me, I find it in the small little things about myself where I'm like, okay, I focus on the small little positives in my life. And the more that I focus on the small positives, the more grateful I start to become about myself, even my flaws. I'm even grateful about certain parts of my flaws because even my flaws, by knowing my flaws, actually makes me stronger.
Yes.
It makes all of us stronger. If we're aware of it, we're also aware of like, okay, I can feel this coming. It's kind of like when you get triggered, right? You can feel it coming. Uh-oh, I feels it, I feel it. And but and being able to be the awareness, right? Being aware of it is huge. But the next step is also, when just because you're aware of something, you also got to take the small little steps to make sure that it doesn't control you,
Literally a shadow work thing to do. Look
Oh,
at
is it?
you,
Yeah. See,
girl.
look, I'm out here kicking my shadow's ass. No, I'm joking. I'm loving my shadow's ass because that's what I've been realizing is that my shadow needs the love just as much as the light in me, and they both are equally
Yes.
great. They are great because the dark teaches me that there's so much shit that I know for a fact that I didn't need to put up with from people, and it just grows like an inner rage. You know what I mean? Like I'm more of like a fiery spirit. Like I got a rage in me, like an anger. My shit manifests as anger instead of like sadness.
Really? I would
Yeah,
have
it's more.
never guessed that, like, from you.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, because it's not like I'm like, it's more my personal life. It's like I'm
Yes.
not like
Yes.
overly sharing like personal shit. But yeah, for me it's more myself manifests more of an it's anger.
Oh
I've
my
noticed
God.
that. It's not like some people cry and get really sad and stuff. And for me, it's like an explosion of like, no, no, the fuck not. It's more like that. That's
You and
really healthy.
Trey are a lot alike.
Interesting. He's a
Because
Gemini, right?
yes, he's a Gemini, and it's like, oh, he's a man, and men have difficulties expressing how they feel, and like
Right.
he'll sit here and he'll try not to like let it get to that, but he does. Like he's like a whole nother person, and like like he'll sit here and he'll be like, I don't know what happened, that I was seeing red, and I'm just looking at him like, what the fuck? And then there was one time Trey was like, I think I astro projected. I was like, Trey, you're literally not even sleeping. Crazy. Can you relate me?
Like a little bit, yeah, because I don't even sleep barely. So it's like I genuinely understand.
I'm just like, what? Oh my, I'm telling, it's crazy. Like it's just so crazy with Trey.
It is because it's like he's a Gemini, it's so opposite of a Capricorn. But just because it's opposite, there could be other things in our charts that could be very similar, maybe.
What's your Saturn?
In
Fine.
Capricorn.
No.
Yes.
Trey's in Capricorn too.
No way. This is getting crazy, bitch. This is getting crazy.
No, Trey's and then Bashy's. My son, my 3-year-old, and yeah, wow. Whew. That is
my Saturn.
crazy.
Yeah, my Saturn's in the 4th house in Capricorn.
Trey's is too.
No way. Girl, this is strange.
What is going on?
Right? Like, what the fuck? Like, Trey's like some kind of like a spirit ancestor and shit, like from a soul tribe, like all you and him. Like, what the fuck? That is
I don't know what's
crazy.
going on. And I find it interesting, getting a little topic, but people say like when you're getting close to your Saturn return, the close to like between 27 and 30, like shit happens. I'm not gonna share what happened because it's fucking traumatic, but like you know, in my life, like whatever happened to him like affected me and my children. And like closer to Saturn return, you know, the death of your mother and your grandmother, that's crazy.
And then moving, and then and then doing the move in the same year, and then like,
Oh my gosh, girl, you said 27. Wow. 27 when everything went down for us. Whew, okay,
interesting.
let's move on.
Yo, like I'm just mind blown. Like this is some interesting shit, man.
333. Literally 333 over here.
Oh my god. See the threes. There it is. Yeah, it's still 12:33 over here, but yeah, it's still on the East Coast. 333. See,
Oh my gosh.
and I'm entering my 33 year. Woo! Me and my Jesus year. The 30. That's what I call it. They call 23 the Jordan year. 33 is the Jesus year. I'm entering my Jesus year next year.
I love that. Oh my gosh. Okay, I want to end with one more question. Okay?
Yes, go ahead.
All right. So, I don't know what came out of nowhere. So, you were extremely private, which I love and respect. Okay. I am, but kind of am not, because you're a girl here. I be trauma dumping. There's a lot of podcasts that I have that I've cried. Like I'm super raw, vulnerable. What advice would you give someone that wants to pursue type of work with, you know, psychic and, you know, stuff, and to be private, you know, like doing that, like kind of like meeting in the middle, like, yeah, I want to be vulnerable but not too vulnerable, but I want to keep my privacy type of thing. What advice would you give that? Because I wouldn't know, because girl, I have Instagram, I have TikTok.
And to me, I'm like, I'm on Instagram, and it's like I signed up for TikTok because I was like, well, I don't want no one to take my fucking name just in case. But it's like I posted a couple, and it's like I can't be consistent, man. It's terrible. But
Yeah.
I would say this as far as the private, like I like that. That's a really good question, because I'm just gonna obviously explain what works for me. What I do is I set boundaries with my business. I know that sounds really funny to say, but I do. I believe it's important to set boundaries with everything in life, even business. And even coming from a Capricorn business bitch like myself, you know, but seriously, I have to tame it and have balance. And so my advice would be to make sure that when you are in the actual mood. So what I do is I go off my actual feelings. So I have to feel, but then again, yeah, nope, it's feeling. You have to feel. Basically, there's going to be days and moments where you don't feel like posting, or you don't feel like sharing anything, or being ultra vulnerable. And that's okay, because you're honoring a part of yourself that needs that downtime. And you know, of course, like when I first started, like in 2017, when I first started, I was like overly doing it, because you know it's a new, you know, when it's something new, it's a new, they teach you like, oh, it's a business. Well, I was going off of logic, you know, you're supposed to post, you're supposed to do all these things, you got to get exposure, you got to do this, you got to do that, right? And so I tried that the first couple years, and it did, you know, it was sure I was the most stressed out ever, because it was just so stressful for me. Actually, the only way, but yeah, but basically, flash forward to now, I made sure that I only post when I feel called to do it. I don't give a fuck if 2 to 3 weeks go by. I have to do it when I feel like doing it, because I also know that by me honoring myself, I honor my business. By me honoring myself and my business, it actually, ironically, not ironically, but I guess metaphysically, that actually attracts and generates people coming to me magnetically. It's a weird thing, but I've noticed this the pattern over the last couple years that when I chill out and not overly think about business or posting is actually when people randomly start to find me and randomly money comes in. I've noticed that. So it is actually the chill energy that I've realized that brought me the most success. But I will say in the beginning, I still believe like obviously like you got to put yourself out there in some kind of
Yes.
form. I'm saying this at the end game. I mean, not like the end game. I'm sound so old. Like it sounds like I'm taking this shit for granted now because I built it up, you know? So I'm going to go back to the beginning. I still believe, and I will say this, I'm saying this now as a relaxed ass bitch, but in the beginning, you do kind of still have to put yourself out there because you're working through your comfort zone. So you really have to work, you know, move past it. So I would still recommend the beginning. Of course, I would not recommend, oh, if you don't feel like it, because of course you're never going to feel like it because it's uncomfortable in the beginning. So in the
Yes.
beginning stages, I would actually recommend posting even if you don't quote feel like it. That's in the beginning stages. Like let's say you just started your business in the first like
Yes.
you just put like you just add like your first day, first month of opening your business up of a psychic or media, whatever the hell you want to do. You gotta post even if you don't feel like it in the at least in the beginning stages. That is something I definitely learned. That's why I said it was stressful because it was uncomfortable as fuck. I lived my life so private before then. I was like, great, you know. But so it was a slow and steady thing. Like it started off very slow for me. Like I would just, it was like when Instagram, you know, like back in 2017, like it was still like, it was popping, but like, you know, it was, you know, so.
Yeah.
And I would literally go put the hashtag like free psychic reading, you know, I literally started doing that. And, you know, people love free shit. So I just wanted to practice. So once I got practicing and I said, I want to have I told these people who DM'd me at that time, I need an honest review, you know, like
Mm-hmm.
don't fucking sugarcoat, like because you know it's the beginning. I need to
Yes.
know the truth, and I don't shy away from criticism or the truth because you know I know I sound like such a Capricorn, right? I need it builds our character. We need to know. So they would leave honest reviews and I was surprised that all of them were good. So I was like, oh my God, so this is real. So it wasn't until if I'd never put myself out there, I would never have gotten that validation that, you know, even though I've always saw spirits and all the psychic stuff, it was still scary to put myself out there in a general sense. And I think even if I wasn't doing psychic stuff, even if I was doing a business selling clothes, it's, you know what I mean? Even doing
Yes.
something not spiritual, I still would have felt the same nervousness, you know, I think it's just, like I said, human nature. But when you post despite that fear, it becomes less and less. I would say for me, this is actually what really grown my social media was in 2018. Now it's, you know, another, you know, 2018, I'm in Mexico. I'm in okay, yeah, girl, bitch, I lived. I lived my life. So I was in California. Obviously, I moved to California in 2017. I lived in San Diego. San Diego's it's my spot. And but you know, I'm on the border. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try something new. Move to Mexico. And
Wow.
yeah, so I stayed in Mexico for a couple months. Beautiful, right near the beach. I was in this little mountain town that was right near the beach. So it's like, you know me, I love the mountains. So it's like those are best of both worlds. It's like you go down about 7 minutes down the street and then you're at the beach. And then if you go 7 minutes up this, and then you're in the mountain town. It's great. It's so beautiful. So in Mexico, I was like, fuck. Because you know it's cheaper to live there too, so I was like, I need to let my
Yes.
money stretch because I just moved, you know what I mean? So I'm like, I need my money to stretch. So like the place that I rented was only like 600 a month, which was like great, you know. So anyway, this is what really happened. At that time I was starting to think about growth. You know, I got the good reviews in, but like, you know, I didn't I was, and I just built my website. That was another huge thing. I built my website right before I moved to Mexico. So I was like, I got to have some kind of professional thing, you know, something where people can click on at least. So after that, it was so, you know, my business was so, but I found this big spiritual page at that time. So this is actually how it started for me. And you know how like those spiritual pages, well, at least back in the day, I haven't done it since then. And by the way, lesson learned, I'm going to share what happened. I you know how they have the advertisements, like you can like DM them. This is, oh, like we advertise your page. You know, you pay money
Yes.
for advertisements, right?
Yes.
So I was like, well, it's a big spiritual page. So I was like, you know what? This is going to be what I need to like, you know, get my shit out there, right? And so I I did that, paid the page. They posted like, they're like, oh, write up a caption and a photo, you know,
Yeah.
things like that. And so did it. I did not, I was severely severely disappointed, girl.
Oh
I
my
was like,
gosh.
no, I didn't just pay 100. And at that time, I'm just moved. I'm struggling. I have no job. Remember, I'm going off of fucking faith.
Yeah.
That's another thing. I now in hindsight, I'm realizing why God had this work out for me because, bitch, I really went by faith, so I do deserve what I got now. But
Yes,
anyway,
you do.
I was really going off faith. So I left Maryland, no job, no nothing. I still had savings, obviously. So obviously that's why I'm able to float by. So I had enough savings because my damn, talking so much, I'm coughing. It's like shit. This happens to me randomly when I'm talking. I talk a million miles per minute, as you hear. Um, so when I when I got there, I wait, what the fuck was I just saying? That cough really distracted me. Damn. Sorry, my
But
brain feels sporadic.
it's
Oh yeah.
okay.
So basically after I'm going off faith here, I'm going off savings. So I had enough savings to get me through. Like I knew once I moved, I could make it maybe till mid 2018, like maybe early summer. That's all I would have. So I want to bring you to speed. So now it's like February 2018, right? February, no, this was February 2018. I'm in
Yes.
Mexico. And so anyway, I paid for the thing. I was disappointed. I thought, damn, dude, you have this huge page. I barely got any traction from it. I was so bad. I was so upset. I was like, never again. And you know what's sad? It cost like $100. And I was like, I need that $100. I was so mad after my $100, like just going to waste. So then I said, okay, let's get back to the drawing board. So I'm sitting there in Mexico. I'm just like, luckily it's so cheap. So I don't have to worry about money. You know what I mean? Everything's
Mhm.
so cheap, like food, like, oh, it's just so wonderful. Like, God damn, America's expensive. So it was so nice. And so I'm luckily that I was able to have that time in this really peaceful place to really like recalibrate. So then I got this overwhelming feeling like, you know what, bitch, you're gonna have to do this on your own. I'm like, I figured, And so basically what I started doing was I started to post, and this is going back to what I was saying about doing what you feel.
Yes.
I
Yes.
started to post what brings me joy. I love teaching. I am a how-to person. And I started to do like I started to and I would also do channel messages, of course, like Eddie Psychic would, right? I would share messages of the day. And then but I noticed what really changed was when I started to do how to's, or when I would explain why things are happening, because
Mm.
I was always channeling information my whole life about why this happens when we meditate,
Wow.
how to do this, how to do that. So I was always channeling that my whole life. So I said, you know what, why not share it with the world? That is what happened. Was I started to share more of my passion instead of focusing on the business aspect, and sharing like what I genuinely find, like what I'm genuinely like, what fuels me. I love learning. So of course it implies if I love to learn, I love to teach, right? They're two, one and the same. And so
Yes.
I realized that was my niche. And by me focusing on that, that is when the growth really started. Actually, I was using, the little hashtags at that time. And this is how my following got jumped huge over the years, was that this big spiritual page, not the one that I fucking paid for, but it was
Yeah.
another random one. They followed me off of one of my posts. I guess they saw my hashtag. I don't know how, it was the old
Yeah.
Instagram days back in 2018. So they found me, followed me, and they kept reposting my shit.
Oh my
And
God.
they had like 500K followers. So that is actually, believe it or not, this is my story about my social media grew, was thanks to that big page. And then after that, then like months later, another one followed me. So it's like now they're starting to find, like, people, like these big things are finding me. So thanks to
Wow.
them resharing my post at that time, that's what started to build my shit. And if I never focus on what brings me, like, what, I can't be everything for everyone. I have to focus on what my specialty is. And my specialty in this life is teaching people to trust themselves, and to teach them how to let go of shit. So if we're able to trust ourselves, and or like psychic tricks of the trade, like I've always had these techniques I was taught from my spirit guides my whole life. So I figured, why not teach humanity what I've been learning all my life that I've been keeping to myself? And thanks to me opening my mouth and actually like sharing, well, I didn't open my mouth, it was all written posts, I was a writer. So thanks to me writing it out and sharing it with the world, I wonder if that was the energy that catapulted me, that I needed to give out to the world as a way for it to come back to me or something. So that's what I basically realized, was that I found my niche, and I stayed persistent because I didn't give a fuck who liked it or who commented. I just enjoyed sharing. So I realized, by me being in the present moment and just enjoying what I'm doing, and not focusing on the achievement or the response, that made the whole difference for me.
That is like a beautiful story. Oh my gosh, Vee.
Thank you.
Wow. And the crazy thing about it, feel and like I see your inner child getting all excited because of the fact, like, how you said there was shade, like you literally had like a breakthrough. You were probably doing a lot of like work from, little you to like 18, and like, wow, Vee, I'm wondering if that was like your way of like reparenting your inner child or something. But wow.
It was. And it's funny, you're right. It's like, actually, over the last, like, I mean, that was like all the way in 2018, but you know what, that was my first breakthrough. You're absolutely
Yes.
right. And it was because it made me realize, like, wait a minute, you can still be who you are, and people will understand you and still will, get what you're saying, because it's like, and will be able to, you can be loved just for being who you are. You know what I mean? You can just be yourself, and that's actually enough. Your existence is great just as it is, nothing more, nothing less, and I've always had that belief, and it really came more true that year. But I would say the last 2 years, like, we're in 2023 right now, so last year, 2022, and this year, I have been, you said the key words, reparenting myself. That's exactly what I've been focusing on. I've been doing a lot of childlike stuff. I've been really focusing on, just like, I've been watching a lot of old cartoons from the 90s. I've been watching a lot of old movies from the 90s, things that I grew up with that I get to re-experience as an adult. And it's just been really great to reconnect with myself. I believe life is just a journey back to ourselves anyway. You know what I mean? That's all it is. It's just returning back to ourselves, our real selves, the soul self. And that's all it is, every moment to moment. And I feel like I live my life now mostly in the present moment. And it's really hard for my earth sign ass, because, Capricorn, and like, gotta think. But
Yeah.
work, it's not even thinking. It's actually just execute. You're right. It's not even, I don't really, I mean, I've said I don't really think. Everyone fucking thinks. But I mean, like, you're right. It's more work. Everything's always about action, action, action. I'm a very action-based bitch, very action-based. And so it's been different for me these last couple of years of just living in the present moment without needing to have to overthink, or without needing to overly take a lot of action until I feel like it. So now I'm living more of an intuitive based life. I go off my feelings. Now, I know the difference between intuitive feeling and emotions. Emotions can spiral us and have us go left, right, up and down, change our mind 30 million
Yes.
times. But the soul feeling is different. It's more solid. So I go by the intuitive feeling rather than just the feelings of my emotions. Because if I went with the emotional experience all the time, I would be dragged up and down the street by them. And that's just not smart to it's good to understand where your emotions are at, so your emotions can kind of signal to you, like, hey bitch, this is what's going on deep down, you're ignoring us, right? So I just know how to separate what's an intuitive feeling versus emotions, and that's very important in this life, to distinguish what's a thought versus a feeling. Sometimes we confuse thoughts with feelings and vice versa. So I really am a big advocator for critical thinking. You know what I mean? So we got to have critical thinking, because we live in a feeling based world, as we should. It's beautiful. Emotions are beautiful. Feeling the connections, like even you and I right now, we're having great connection, and I just see clairvoyantly beautiful, colorful energy, because it's like everything's alive and beautiful and high vibrational and stuff. And so but I just really firmly believe in just going with my feelings. So I just live my life now in the present moment. I let shit go. Like I said, I've seen too much death to not let shit go. So I let shit go, and I move on with my life, and I try to just have a positive like mentality. And I think it's weird when people think like, oh, if you're positive, it's toxic positivity. I'm like, God damn, can a bitch be positive for a second? Like, damn, life's hard as it is. I think it's weird to shame someone for trying to be positive, but I get the fine line though. You don't want to dismiss someone else's stuff with toxic positivity at the same time, because it can come off as very dismissive. So it is a fine line. So I do walk that fine line, but I also believe that our emotions are a choice, and we can, after feeling it, we can choose to discard it or to keep reliving
Mm-hmm.
in an emotion. I will never, and I mean never, be bound by any bad experience or allow any bad experience I've ever had, any bad shit that was said to me by anyone, any trauma I've been to. I will never allow it to control me, because that hinders our inner power and inner light. And
Yeah.
so that's why it's always important to work, like the work that you do, working through it, like what you do is beautiful. And that's why I said it before, I'm gonna say it again, because what you do is you help people work through these things that frees them. So it frees up all that energy going towards their emotions and traumas, and it frees them from it and helps them work with it, to coexist with it, to live with it, to heal it, and to release it.
Mm-hmm.
Because what's the end goal? I feel like everyone's always talking about all this dark shit all the time, but it's like, what's the end goal? The end goal, obviously, when we say healing, it implies like, okay, I'm free from it, but there'll always be another thing, right? If you think
Mm-hmm.
about, if you
Yeah.
ever think about like life, it's always something else. You think oh man, I finally got over this, and then boom, another thing resurfaces. That's
It's
life.
so crazy. I was literally like telling my friends this. I was like, I feel like there's always something, but just being okay at something, because like I know like in my life, like I'm in this like peak of like success, but like something deep down inside is like, yeah, there's gonna be like my shit in my personal life, like that balance.
Right, exactly. There's always going to be that balance. Like, we signed up as humans for this duality existence, to realize that everything is God anyway. And honestly, in the bigger picture thing, our pain, our pleasure, our love, this, everything is God. And I know that's a really hard concept to think about, but I see things a lot differently. I just do. We like to think that, we're all like, our pain makes us feel so separate from everyone. Our pain makes us
Yes.
feel like, you know, we're alone. Pain gives us this illusion of feeling alone. Pain gives us the feeling of feeling the illusion of separateness. But we're technically all one. I really believe in the philosophy of oneness, that we're all one. And I know I sound like a hippie right now, but it's true. We really are. And so I'm talking to you, but you are also a soul aspect of my own self, and vice versa. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? I
Yes.
see things in the bigger picture like that. So that's why it's like, I can't take things too personally, because everyone is working their shit out the best way they know
Yes.
how. You know what I mean? And it's like, I know people are going to slip up. You know why? Because I fucking slip up. So who am I to be mad at someone else for like getting angry with me when I get angry too? Like, who am I to shame them when I also do the same thing? So it's like,
Yes.
that's why I always talk about depersonalization. It's very important to not overly personalize things in life, because of someone's actions are about them, not about you. And if someone takes an action to leave someone, it's because, I mean, sure, you could say, well, I'm leaving because you made me feel this way. But the root of this is that feeling. No one can force someone to feel something.
Yeah.
Even, I know it sounds like crazy to say it, but no one can technically say, I will now give you this emotion. You must feel this. Like, technically, we can. I mean, here's the thing: there is such a thing called energy influence, though. People can fucking use their energy and send it to people. It is a real thing. Really nasty energy. It's nasty if you do it, but it's
Yeah.
nasty energy.
Protect yourself.
Yeah, and yeah, some people are weird like that, and that's a part of this journey. It's just you know not over being able, like you said, having a form of protection over yourself. And I also believe, by activating your inner power and really focusing on working on yourself in releasing a lot of pent up stuff from the past and not living
Yes.
in the past, that acts as a protection barrier. Did you know that your vibration acts as a protective barrier, with or without you
Yes.
having to overly protect yourself? So technically, you are protected by your own inner life force. There's a power radiating, in our auric fields or electromagnetic fields. And so it naturally blocks out a lot of the stuff. But that's why it's so important to really clear out all the bullshit. Stop hanging on.
Yes.
Oh, why won't this person call me back? Because they're an asshole. Let's move on and let it go, because you don't want to have your energy wrapped up into someone who is not aligned for you, or who you constantly feel triggered by or emotionally by all the time. It's like, why do we stay in these things. And that's what I don't understand. It's like we
Yeah.
got to get out of living in the past or accepting. It's like I think what happens is we keep accepting the past versions of ourselves and thinking it's still going on, not realizing it's important to check in with, wait a minute, is this do I really still need to react this way? Am I really this person still? It's just, I don't know. I'm just going on a tangent by now. Sorry, girl.
Have you ever thought of like doing like a talk show? Like,
Hey, what's funny? When I was younger, I had a dream that I was going to be a talk show host. Isn't that funny? When I was younger,
I'm
I
dead.
did not
Oh my
I
God.
didn't want to be one, but I had dreams. Isn't that so? I think that's so weird. I forgot all about it. You bring it up, just conjured that memory up. My God.
Maybe like in the future, right? Like, because I do feel like there's like this big shift happening like on this earth. Like, who fucking knows what's happening? But like, maybe there'll be like some psychic shit and featured on it. You
Hey,
know?
man, I'm open to whatever. Hey, I can see that, man. I'm open to whatever. I go, I have what's it called? In astrology, I have a lot of third house, which is a lot of talking, I think, communication or whatever.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So I think that's probably why I would probably be well suited for anything communication wise, right? So
That's
my sun, Mercury, and Uranus is in the third house. So it's like,
what sign is that?
um
That
the
has to be Sagittarius.
Sagittarius rules my third house. So my sun in Capricorn. So yeah, can you believe it? My Sagittarius rules my third house. So even though my sun's in Capricorn, it's its sun in Capricorn in the third house. My Mercury's in Sag in the third house. Uranus in Capricorn in the third house. In the third house, Sagittarius rules my third house.
That's a lot. Wow.
I know, right? So that's probably why I'm like, wait, that's probably why I come off the way I come off, right?
No, it's all good. Wow. Whew. I've had a good time with you, V.
Me
I
too.
really, really from like the depth, like deep, 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 deep down in my soul, like so much love for you.
I feel it. Seriously, I really do. And I really appreciate it. I feel the same love back to you. And I can like, my heart's like bursting. My heart is like, girl, I told you about starting my period. Again, this tear is forming at the corner of my eye.
You're so dramatic.
I know, right? That's a Cancer moon in me. And I have a lot of 10th house in me too. My Cancer moon's in the 10th house as well. Chiron's in the 10th house. Even my Jupiter and Leo's in the 10th house. So I got a lot of random shit going on.
Had your astrology chart read?
You know what? A long time ago, but you know what? I could go for it. It's been years. So I'm just, the shit that I'm just regurgitating to you is just shit that I've just read on my own. I
Yes,
have the
yes.
little astrology apps.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Like I just download the little, like there's an app called Astro Matrix that I have.
I have it and it tells me like the moon phase, like every
I love that, how detailed it is. And
yeah.
CoStar, of course, I have CoStar. But yeah, so it's like I'm learning through like little things like that, but like an actual like formal reading, no. But it's like it's interesting to see how all this shit. And my North Node's in Capricorn, so I'm just a Capricorn bitch out here.
Wow.
In the fourth house too. So I have a lot of fourth and 10th. It's just weird.
Wow. Whew, girl.
Seriously, I know. But I just want to say thank you so much. Seriously, it was
yes.
it's been an honor. Like I don't really share too much about my personal life, so it's actually been fun because I'm actually really happy that I did this because this is my own soul lesson. See, and I like to go face my challenges head on, and so my own soul lesson is just being cool and comfortable. If I already been cool and comfortable with just how I talk in general sense, what the fuck difference does it make to talk about my personal life? So it's like I wanted to do this as a way to settle a score with my own self.
No, really, I love that. I love. And you know what the crazy thing is? I know that I can like go on and talk to you for hours.
I know, right?
And it's just so crazy. But I want to thank you so much because again, I'm putting emphasis on how private you are. Like it's very bold of you to go on and share that. The whole time you're talking, like I felt her, like I was channeling stuff, and I was just gonna be like, I was telling her just go to the corner of the room, please, and she's herself, and I was like, okay.
That sounds like her. But you want to know something about what you said about bold? The first right after my mom died, she came through to me and she said, "Be bold." I said, "What am I going to do? I'm scared, Mom, about this, and that, about my business and stuff." And she said, "Be bold." So when you said that, I was like, yeah, that's literally the word she used. So I take that as confirmation.
Okay. There's too much synchronicities on
I know. Girl, the psychic channels are open. The psychic energy is intense right now. It's open with both of us. And that's the beautiful thing. It's like when we're just open beings, all this great information will flow. Everyone is psychic if they were just in the present moment. That's all anyone. The best, also another side, sorry, I gotta talk one more second.
It's okay.
The best thing, and this is the last thing I'm gonna say, advice. The best way to be the best psychic or intuitive you can be is by being completely present, because as you're seeing here and now, when you're completely present, it gives you access to, you're able to read a lot more clearly. And you're like how you're picking up on my mom, the word bold, like that's literally the word she used years ago to me. These are the things that pops up when you're completely present. And that's why it's so important to just let go of all the heavy shit in life and like focus on what's really important, which is love, laughter, and transmuting some dark shit in your life and having a good fucking time. I will have a good fucking time in this life. You don't have spiritual people that like, oh, spirituality, we're just going to sit in a fucking cave all day. No, please. I'm living my life.
No, that is something. You're so random. I love
I know, right? I told you, it's my deal. I swear it's the third house, or it's like ADHD, or maybe it's all of the, I don't know at this point.
That is something that I'm like really trying to learn, because like with kids and trying to like balance home and life and just like trying to be in the present moment, heal my trauma and all that, like being in it's a lot, but thank you again. Yes, I really do appreciate you. I'm pretty sure in the future I'll have you on my podcast again, because I would love to talk about podcast that was just about your life and reading. So
oh, I love it. Okay, sounds good.
I'll definitely
look forward to seeing you in the future.
Yes, sometime in the future. But thank you again, Vee. Yeah, I'm gonna go on and end it here. Thank you guys. I will go on and put all her socials and stuff in the description. Wow, I took a break podcasting because the girls were not in school. Now they're going to school Wednesday. So here we go.
Look at that. Now you're ready to fire it back up. Wait a minute.
I'm ready. I have all these, like, you were like my first like actual like collab outside of like my personal life. Oh
well, shit, I'm honored. Thank you.
Know. Look, 111, literally 111 minutes. What the fuck?
I know, and it's like it's 104 over here right now. So, oh my gosh, that's girl. We are just too. The psychic energies is crazy buzzing right now. Shit, I might as well play the lottery. This might be a good day. All right, girl, it's been great talking to you. Thank you so much.
I will talk to you later, Vee.
All right, sounds good. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yes, bye.
Bye.